Welcome to Valmas. The international break is a downtime for football where soccer fans can go back to their normal lives. This week we've been given a fiesta of games and we'll take you through that on this episode, including City's big win in Seville, Real Madrid vs PSG, a match so boring that it made the commentator snore, and we'll preview the best game in the world. I'm here with Bob to discuss the issues. Unfortunately, Olumide couldn't be here with us. But Bob, let's start off in Seville. As Seville welcomed two juggernauts in the football world. Starting with the game against City. Why were City so good?
I think it's all about kind of catalyst when you score early. Because when you score early, it can. But that can either give the players like the confidence to go on and win the game, or it can make the opposition it can be like a kick up the backside, and the opposition can just dominate you for the rest of the match because they have a deficit to recoup. But I think Sterling scoring that early kind of gave City the belief that they could actually do it, and that was the difference in the players. So I think from then on, City had the confidence to go on and win the game.
And let's talk about Raheem Sterling a bit. He had a monster game against Sevilla. He was out of this world. Is it possible, if he can keep this form up throughout the year?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, I wasn't too happy with him against Villa. He had he ignored his left foot a lot, and he was trying to cut in rather than just going straight to goal and trusting his ability, even with his weaker foot. So I think he has bags of potential, but he still has a lot to learn. But playing in a team like City, he will get a lot more chances to showcase how good he is.
Mm-hmm. And this was City's side without David Silva, without Sergio Aguero, and they absolutely ripped apart Sevilla. How dangerous can they be with those two back?
Oh, if they had those two back, I wouldn't rule them out of anything. Honestly, I can maybe not Champions League, but they breeze through the English Premier League if those two guys were back, because that's what they were missing. If they had Aguero, they would have won the game pretty comfortably.
Yeah, it could have been 5 or 6-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sevilla's a weird one this season. They've been up and down. They've been... and I remember it was the game against Juventus where, they were absolutely nowhere in the game. They were just rubbish. They were not there. They weren't even present. And in this game, I felt they tried to fight back a bit. But, City were just too good.
Yeah, they are so inconsistent.
Yeah, they are. Even...
Yeah, they could probably beat anyone, but at the same time, they could just, the next game, even after they play well and win, the next game, I can't, place a bet on Seville to win because I don't know what Seville is going to come out.
Yeah, and moving on to the game today where they played against Real Madrid, they were absolutely brilliant one day. They're absolutely brilliant one day. And they played well. Real Madrid got the early goal through Sergio Ramos, who's out injured. And he might miss the Clasico, but Sevilla came back with Immobile, who celebrated like he won the World Cup. And Konoplyanka is out of this world. He provided the setup for all 3 goals.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And what about Madrid, Bob? Why were they so poor? Because the scoreline flatters them. 3-2 flatters them a lot.
This squad is, I'm not sure if that's employing a work, and they're conceding a lot despite this game. But I don't know if the players go to have any sort of rhythm, any sense of, strategy when they're going forward. It just looks a mess to me.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, comes inside. Sometimes he goes outside. Bale's just hovering around. Maybe they have 3 roles, fair enough. But at least, it's not very penetrative. It's not doing. They're almost quite easy to play. But they were poor against PSG as well. I don't know how PSG didn't beat them 4. So I think going forward, they have the players, but I'm not sure if the tactic, if the philosophy fits the players, or maybe the players just aren't, that interested in playing for the manager.
Yeah, and let's talk about the PSG game, or let's stay on this game, and let's talk about selection, because like he picked Gareth Bale, and he picked him over Lucas Vasquez and Hesse, who have arguably been better this season and came under good form. Like, should we criticize Rafa Benitez in that?
I mean, it's hard to, because Bale, he has so much ability that, at any point in time in a match, he can show you why he's worth that kind of money that Real Madrid paid for him. But, in the last year or so, he just doesn't seem to be... I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's been promised that, now Real Madrid are going to start moving towards him less and less towards Ronaldo. They're going to start shaping the team around him. So I think he's kind of waiting around to see if that happens. But I don't know what's happened to him. I really don't. He just doesn't look confident. He doesn't even take players on as much, and he should be taking players on with ease. I'm just really not sure what to do with Bale.
Yeah, he's still making the good runs. He made a couple of good runs today, but it's just in the final third, he lacks ideas. He's too quick to make decisions, and I feel maybe that lack of confidence from his fight with Cristiano last season, which we discussed, might be affecting him. And let's talk about the third trident in the BBC. Karim Benzema has been in the news for reasons beyond soccer. And he was allegedly involved in the blackmail scandal against Valbuena. How do you feel that affects Karim Benzema as a person, and how do you feel that affects Real Madrid?
I've always been quite curious about Karim Benzema off the pitch, because he's always been very much in the public eye. He hangs out with celebrities. In the summer there were pics of him with Rihanna. Kind of habits of players. I always find it interesting when other players hang out with big celebrities, because I always feel I don't know, there's not necessarily a lack of professionalism, but it's just a bit extra. They don't really need to, they're of their own kind of status, except they're just friends with these people, don't get me wrong, and then the paparazzi and whatever just kind of play things out, but it just seems like a lot of the time they're doing a bit extra. And Benzema, I'm not surprised this kind of story would come out. He might not, he might be clear, but this isn't the first time he's been in the news for something off the pitch. So, the other time when him and Ribery were talked about sleeping with an underage girl and all this kind of stuff, it's not a coincidence that it's the same player being mentioned constantly off the pitch. And this thing with Valbuena is bizarre to me, because I'm sure Benzema earns 5 times what Valbuena, so I'm really sure he'll be exploiting people for money. But yeah, I feel like Benzema, he hasn't reached, he has so much potential, but there's a reason why he hasn't reached that level of, he's obviously known as, one of the best strikers in the world, roughly, maybe. But he hasn't really reached that height in a way to play for Real.
And
striker.
And should Real Madrid sell him? Because this is the kind of incident that tarnishes not only his image, it tarnishes the image of Real Madrid, because it's associated with Real Madrid. And there's been rumors of Robert Lewandowski being linked to Real Madrid as well.
I'd love to see how much they would try and sell Lewandowski for. I'm not sure what his basic clause is. It must be something stupid, but one, I can't see Lewandowski wanting to go necessarily. And two, if they can't get someone like Lewandowski, I can't see why they'd want to sell Benzema, because there's not that many strikers. I mean, if someone like Aguero is available, maybe, but there aren't too many strikers that, I feel like they can improve. That can actually improve on Benzema right now. So,
yeah. And before we leave Real Madrid, we have to talk about another story. Cristiano Ronaldo has been heavily linked with Paris Saint-Germain. According to Marca, what he whispered to Laurent Blanc was that, "I like the way your team plays, and I'd love to play for you." Is there a chance of this move happening?
I'm not sure. Did you see the video of showed speaking to Ronaldo? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw it, and it was a.
I couldn't really translate, but what was said? Do you know what was said?
Oh yeah, so basically Florentino told Ronaldo like, oh, what did he say to this magazine kicker? And what Ronaldo did say to kicker was, I like in life you never know. Like right now I'm happy in Madrid, but I can play in any league. And that was before the game. So then after the game, Ronaldo whispered to Blanc, like what I said earlier, and that's why like there are rumors that like this might be his last season in Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
surprised he'd want to go play for PSG. It just doesn't make sense, like the French league.
well,
I mean, that could make PSG like a big team to play, like Champions League wise, but the French league is so poor that PSG don't yet they dominate it. I mean, they didn't necessarily dominate it that much. Like there was a lot of them fight last season, but this season, they're not necessarily playing great week in, week out, and they're still, they're still already like a massive lead in the French league. So I don't really know, like, if Ronaldo had the opportunity to come back to England, I don't know why he'd say no and go and play the French league. Like, so.
Yeah, but maybe it's because like if he comes back to England and especially a team like Manchester United, like he's going to be chasing his own shadow. He's always going to be compared to the Ronaldo in 2008 that won the Champions League for United and won the Premier League at the same time. And maybe he might not want that. Maybe he wants like a more glamorous challenge. Like PSG, they might win the Ligue easily, but like the main aim for the project is the Champions League. And that's like the glamour tie for him. Maybe he might want that, and maybe he might want less comparison with Lionel Messi.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah.
Right now, if I was Real Madrid, would I be happy to let Ronaldo lead with the team around Bale? It's Bale that's playing right now.
Yeah, but you can make some argument Ronaldo, like he's not playing too well right now.
Not playing too well, but never going to be. Ronaldo scored 13 goals, but those 13 goals are only come in 6 games.
Yeah.
Which means that, like, in 9 games, he hasn't scored at all. And if Ronaldo's not scoring, he's not really doing much else. So, he's not having a great spell, but I'd still take him over Bale right now, any day. Yeah, because Bale, he does nothing regardless.
And what about, let's move on from him. What about Barcelona? Like, Ronaldo recently claimed that Neymar, like, in an interview, was asked about who's going to be the next 5 superstars after him, and he said maybe Neymar. Well, but Neymar's playing better than him at the moment. He scored 2 goals in the Champions League. He scored, I think 2 goals in La Liga as well. No, he scored 2 goals in the Champions League, 2 goals in La Liga this weekend. And rate Neymar's performance in the absence of Lionel Messi.
Yeah, I mean, Neymar's been unbelievable. Like, he's showing that after Messi, Ronaldo leaves, he's the next big deal. Like, easily, yeah, because he stepped up, not just goals, but with assists. Like, he's actually leading the team. He's, shown a lot of maturity in his game, which is good to see. So, yeah, I think Neymar, if anyone's going to win Ballon d'Or out of, like, the next batch of players, it has to be Neymar.
Yeah, and also, like, we can't ignore Luis Suarez, who's been absolutely amazing. And, like, some of the goals he's scoring, it just reminds me of when Samuel Eto'o was there. The composure, the dribble, the quickness to finish, like, and the clinicalness. Like, I remember the game against Eibar where he scored in the same corner twice, which was absolutely crazy. It was poor goalkeeping, but, like, he's still the main guy. He's scored about 9 goals in La Liga at the moment. He has more goals than Cristiano or same level. And so, no pun intended, but it's amazing that he's finally playing at the level we expected of him when we bought him. Like, he played at that level at the end of last season, and he's continued.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I really believe that Barcelona will win the El Clasico as well, because I feel like they're in far better form, and if they do lose the El Clasico, they'll lose it on their own terms. If you know what I mean, like mistakes, etc. Real Madrid won't outplay them.
Yeah, And let's talk about like the possible lineup we've seen because both teams are hampered with injuries. Like, what kind of lineup do you think Rafa Benitez will play against
I
Barcelona?
mean, James came back. He came on as a sub today, and I think he probably would start. I'm not sure if Benzema will be back, so I reckon.
Does that
I'm
mean
not
the end of
sure.
Isco?
But if I go with Hesse, the man from Ronaldo, Bell, and James, it's like the attack, but and then maybe Casemiro, Modric, but. It's tough because there are other players pushing for starts, but I don't know. I think this international break would be key as well. Because, players could still get injured as well during this international break, so
Yeah.
I have to wait and see.
Yeah, I feel for Barcelona it's a bit trickier because or it's not a bit trickier. It's a lot easier. My bad because of the injuries. Obviously, Rakitic is gone. Iniesta came back, and so I'll say maybe a front three of Suarez, Neymar, and Meunier. The mid three will be Iniesta, Roberto, and Busquets with the back four of Alves, Mascherano, Piqué, and Alba. And like I'm really like in normal circumstances I'll be scared, but like I'm really happy with the way Sergio Roberto has been playing. He's been class throughout the season, like whether it's right back or centre midfield, like it's just been amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
And like if Real Madrid are to win, like where do you feel like they can hurt Barcelona? Because aside from this game, they've been amazing defensively.
They hurt Barcelona. Obviously, I still believe with the kind of caliber of players they have. Don't get me wrong, those kind of players can turn up at any given moment. So, James, Bale, Ronaldo, they can still hurt teams. But I feel like on the counter attack is where they can hurt Barcelona because the speed. The second you're getting the likes of Bale and Ronaldo at full speed, there's no one on the pitch at Barcelona who can catch them.
Alba.
You can't catch Bale.
Yeah.
Bale at full Bale is probably one of the quickest players on the planet. So Alba might be, if Alba's going to reach him, he has to reach him in the first few strides because once Bale gets going, there's no way. And especially if Bale's off the ball, Alba's trying to mark it, I doubt. But we'll have to see. I feel like Barcelona will control the game. I feel like that's where Barcelona's goals will come from rather than, fast-paced, quick passing. I feel like Barcelona will just try and control the game and win it that way. Real Madrid will try and counter. Because Real Madrid, I don't think, without Cruz as well, if he does come back, I'm not sure. Without him, they do have Modric, but I don't see them in midfield beating like Busquets. Because Busquets right now is playing on another level.
Yeah, he's just on another planet, man. He's better than Zidane.
He's on another level, so.
No, it's just a like joke that Barca fans see around each other. Yeah, but even like with Ramos gone, like there's a weakness in the air. Like with Fernando Llorente's third goal for Sevilla this afternoon, like if Ramos was there, that would have been a goal.
Yeah, I think Ramos injured himself whilst scoring.
Yeah, but I feel with Varane, like Varane is like on the ground, like he's so fast that it's almost impossible to beat him and actually score. But like when it's in the air, like that's when his weakness is like fully exposed.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it should be a great contest.
Yeah,
it's the best game. It's the best game in domestic football.
football.
As far as I'm concerned, so it'll be exciting.
And before like we go away from Spain, let's just like take a round trip around La Liga, starting with Valencia. Like Bob, can you still believe that the fans are chanting "Nuno vete ya," which means Nuno go?
They still wanted him to go out, even after they destroyed Celta 5-1. I didn't see it coming.
Yeah. Like I woke up that morning and I'm like, okay, like this is the end because like there were news reports throughout the week that like Nuno was gonna go. He had fights with Negredo. He had fights with Rodrigo de Paul. There were rumors that his players didn't believe in him. The management met with the old management, which didn't like him. And so, like, it just seemed like the perfect storm was going to happen in this game, man. But no, all of a sudden, like, Valencia played really well. They dominated the game. Celta were in it. Like, the 5-1 does flatter them, but like they're showing signs of like what they can be, and they're only 6 points behind Real Madrid, which is surprising, and the fans still want him to go.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I guess one game can't change everyone's opinion of you, because football's just if they go and lose the next game, no one's going to remember this game anyway. So that's just how football is. And I guess overall, they feel like they can get a better manager in.
Yeah, but it seems like he's going to have to win the league for the fans to forgive him.
Yeah, I think like it might just be too much for him to try and like finish the relationship, because it might just be too damaged right now that he can't get it back.
Yeah. And also, like, Phil Neville's there for Valencia. And, like, the fans are so annoyed with him because, like, what he does at each game, like, before each game, like, he's also a co-owner of Salford City. And so he's always, like, talking about them on Twitter and stuff. And then the Valencia fans got on his back. Then he responded back on Twitter with a picture of him watching, like, a B team game. And, like, do you think he will last in the city? Like he's closely tied with the owner, but, like, in terms of, like, I doubt he will, but, like, what's your perspective?
I guess it's up to the owners, but...
Hello? And we're talking about Phil Neville. And you were saying now it's up to the owners for him to go. But I guess let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and before we leave Spain, let's talk about Athletic Bilbao, because like 2 of the strikers are in really hot form. First, I'll talk about Aduriz, who's now scored more goals than Fernando Llorente, and at 34, is becoming even better. Like, how? Like, are you surprised?
I understand that.
Yeah, yeah, because I feel like coming back home has given him that extra edge. Like, I remember in the game against Barcelona where he scored a hat trick, and then like he's the top scoring Spanish player this season. More goals than Ronaldo, Neymar, Suarez.
I know it's unreal.
Yeah.
I really don't know where this form. I think no one could ever have predicted he'd be getting better at such an age. I guess it's all about confidence and how comfortable you are. Like, a lot of players play so different when they're playing confident. Like even Jonathan Dos Santos from Villarreal today, he looked great, and I think it's all about confidence. Like when a player is really confident and they actually have like a lot of self-belief, then anything is possible.
And Iñaki Williams, who's been the first black player to score for Athletic Bilbao, has been sensational this season.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just like come out. He's like Harry Kane. Like they were just, someone you thought maybe could play a few first team games, but just broke out and unleashed themselves. And I mean, I just hope he can stay fit all season, because he might shock a few people. Like even you were saying, but you think he might get 10 goals this season. At this rate, he might get 20.
20, yeah. And like, do you feel like there's a chance if he continues at this rate, he can get called up from the Euros with problems with Diego Costa? Paco Alcácer isn't playing at the level that Del Bosque wants, so could he be the player?
I mean, I don't know. The Spain team is too good.
Okay.
Yeah, the standards are too high. I don't know if you could. It's probably too early for that.
Yeah. So now we're going to move on to your team, Manchester United. You guys have been having problems with the goals, but like what problems? 3 goals this week. 1 against CSKA, 2 against West Brom. About.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, with United, there's just not enough risk taking. There's not enough penetrative football. Like if a team sets up with 8 players behind the ball, there's rarely any players taking other players on. It's mostly just trying to cross the ball and just switch the ball from side to side. And we don't play quick enough football. And I think part of that also is down to the fact that Herrera doesn't play. and we're still trying to validate why Rooney should be in the team when he shouldn't be.
Yeah, but why isn't Herrera playing?
Because of Rooney, I think. If the second Rooney gets dropped, Herrera is the next replacement because Martial needs to play up front. He played up front. I'm not really sure what our tactics are these days. I mean, the last 2 games it's looked like 4-4-2, but the second Martial went down the middle. The 90th minute he got down the middle. He won a penalty, got a player sent off in the squad. So it's like that same ball that was played to Martial. I wouldn't think the same of Rooney if he had gotten there because it was a similar ball that Martial played to Rooney at Crystal Palace last week, and Rooney didn't. Rooney, I'm not sure what he did there, but he couldn't get onto the ball. So I just feel like Rooney just needs a few games out. Like I'm hoping this international break is good for him, but England are playing Spain and France, so we might get embarrassed anyway. So I hope we do, because it just gets annoying. Because during qualifiers, England always everyone talks about how good they are because we're beating teams where I don't even know half their players. It's just like it's sad. And once it gets to the proper tournament, it's always a disappointment. So I'm hoping that we get humbled.
Yeah, but there are great players coming up for England, like players like Sterling, as you mentioned earlier, Kane, even Vardy's been amazing in the Premier League. It's 12 goals, I think, this season.
It's the point is, the thing I don't like about England is that do they get the same expressive freedom when they play for their country? They're the main men when they're at a domestic level, but do they get that same respect when they play for their country? Vardy, I'm not sure will. They'll probably still try and use him as some sort of super sub in the Euros. When right now, I think if Encore on form, him and Kane should be starting. Like Rooney should not be playing, but obviously because Rooney's captain, they're going to feel like he needs to play and blah blah blah. But if I was a manager, I'd go by form only. There's nothing else I care about other than form. Like I drop my captain. Because if he's not playing well, he's not playing well. If he's not contributing to the team, that's the end of it.
And yeah, so but I feel if Roy Hodgson picks the right team, I feel England can actually go far in this Euros. Like they can go to the quarters or maybe the semis. Because they do have fantastic players. Like I came on the other night too. It's fantastic for Liverpool. Vardy's been amazing. Sterling, we saw what he can do against Seville. Kane has started scoring again. Like it's a good team. It's a good crop of young players.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you were to change the managers, who you change Roy Hodgson for?
Sorry.
If you were to change the manager, because it seems like the manager is the problem. Because when they go to the
I don't like the way he played. The philosophy works well defensively, but just like Rafa Benitez, but not in the same way. Rafa Benitez has a much bigger, standard of players to work with. But it's just the way we play defensively is great, but that's the point because we just try and keep the ball. There's no real penetrative football. This is why I don't even like the fact that Memphis is not in the team. Because even when he was in the team, he didn't offer much defensively, etc. But his pace and his ability to take players on and take risks is what we're missing right now. And I'd like to see a team of Mata, Herrera, Martial, and Memphis. I feel like that could be a team that would score goals.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like Memphis. He has an attitude problem. He feels it's all about him, and I feel that's what's hurting his chances when it's in play.
I know, but he has so much to learn. I'm just hoping he doesn't let it get to his head. I hope he's mentally strong enough to get through, not playing in the last month or so, and be able to come back and show us why he deserves to play. But we'll see.
Well, that works because that's what happened to Gerard Piqué last season, where he was left out. Luis Enrique made him warm up even when he wasn't going to play, and eventually came back really strong. It was amazing in the other half. But let's talk about Arsenal. They were in action against Bayern Munich. They got absolutely destroyed. And too bad Umde's in here because remember after Arsenal won and he was talking about yeah.
Yep, and I mean it was expected in the sense that Arsenal had a lot of injury. That's exactly how the game should go, and I feel like Emirates didn't take the game as seriously as they could have because going forward, they just seem like very lackluster. Very like they lack a lot of concentration. And they, Arsenal were good. Don't get me wrong in the first game, but Bayern Munich were way off. I think the second Bayern Munich turned, played to their qualities. The result came. To me, it was no surprise.
Yeah. Do you feel with that result, like maybe Bayern has shown that they can win the Champions League this season? Because as we mentioned before, Real Madrid isn't playing up to that level. Maybe the only team that's playing really as good as them at the moment is possibly Man City and Barcelona.
Exactly, but yeah, I'm still going to go for Barcelona because I feel like once Messi's back and he's fit, having Messi in your team to me is more important than the whole Bayern team.
Yeah. And Arsenal, they were in action this afternoon and they had a chance to take the top spot, but like they drew to Spurs. And why were Spurs able to get a draw from Arsenal?
No, Spurs should have won. I mean, Arsenal had the better chances, but Spurs controlled the game for three quarters of the game. If they had taken their chances in those 3 quarters of the game, Arsenal wouldn't be able to get back in it. But Arsenal obviously have Giroud, who 1 week scoring against Bayern, 1 week he's scoring against Bayern twice, and the week after, he's back to missing. He can easily have scored a hat trick, maybe more.
Yeah,
and missed them all. So.
Yeah, on Spurs, what has changed with Pochettino? Because like they seem to have this flair, this pressing game that they didn't have under AVB or under Tim Sherwood.
I just think there's more belief. He's brought a certain belief in the players. To me, they look like they know. They look like they have the belief that they can beat teams. Rather than before, it was always like, I don't know, we're not sure. Let's just see how it goes. But now there's a maturity, there's an expectation. I feel like he's put in that team that's actually made them a lot better.
Can Spurs get the last spot for the top 4, especially with Chelsea's form?
Yeah, I feel like they're the team that I would put there over anyone else because Liverpool still have too many issues.
Yeah, and they lost to Crystal Palace this afternoon as well. Yeah, and
exactly. Liverpool went and lost to Crystal Palace again.
Yeah.
So you're just like, there's a lot to do there.
Yeah, it's up and down a bit. Like they beat Chelsea, they beat Rubin Kazan in Russia, and then they lost to Crystal Palace at home. But the Premier League, it's been really nice and competitive. Like Leicester is like 1 point away from the top. West Ham are still in there. And it looks like there's going to be a big old scrap for 4th, especially if Chelsea picks up their form. But on Chelsea, right now they're 13 points off the top 4 spot. They're 15 points off the top spot, and they have a better defense than only 7 teams in Europe out of the top 5 leagues. Yeah. So, and you look at them, and they won the league title last season with a very good defense. But what's changed so much? Yeah, for Chelsea, because like last season they had like Ivanovic, Cherry, Kale. They were rock.
It's playing bad, but it's the same core. Like it's the exact same core team they have this season. They had last season. That's why I don't know. I feel like mentality is so important in football. Like the players just seem to have lost their mentality. Lost like everything just seems to be broken. I'm not sure how much goes on behind, off the pitch. But I feel like there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on off the pitch that's affecting, the players because Hazard, is completely off the ball. Fabregas starts on the bench. Like it's just a complete turnaround. And every week I'm waiting for to see Chelsea will start this week to start this week, and it's feel like it's the whole season, and I haven't seen. There's not one game I felt like they deserved to win.
Yeah, but there were.
This whole season, even when at the start of the season, even when they beat West Brom 3-2, I think was the score, they didn't, in my opinion, they didn't deserve to win that. Swansea should have beat them at the start of the season as well.
Oh, yeah.
To me, there's not been many times they've looked like they deserve to win.
But if there's any player playing at the level he's meant to be, it's possibly Willian. He scored a couple of goals that's like saving his manager's bacon, although they're all from free kicks. But like,
yeah, like that's the thing that I think is funny about everyone saying Willian is the player of the season, blah blah blah. Like, take away the dead ball situations. To me, he's just as bad as everyone else. I don't see him stand out at all. Like, I feel like people just take a few free kicks, fair enough. Scoring free kicks, that's great. But in general scheme of play, like, to me, he's offering just as little as everyone else. So I'm not sure where. I mean, he's okay. Let me not say that he's playing decent, but people still forget he cost 30 million. Diego Costa costs 30 million. Hazard costs 30 million. Like, Fabregas cost a lot of money. Like, people always stop talking about money. They talk a lot about money when they talk about United and stuff like that. But Chelsea spend their own money. Like, all their players on there are expensive players.
And with John Terry, do you think the pressure is maybe getting to him a bit? Like, this week he made some comments about Robbie Savage after Rob Savage criticized him.
There's no way. If Terry was on top of his game and Chelsea were winning games, he wouldn't even bother to think about such a comment. But clearly, because that's what I'm saying, there's a lot going on off the pitch. Because the mentality of players, the fact that Terry would even mention, like, your club captain mentioning a talk show host about comments that made, like, when your team's losing every week, like, where's your mind? Like, it's just a mess. Like, the fact that he mentioned it is crazy to me.
Yeah, and with Mourinho, like, is he like 2-3 games away from the sack, or do you think he's going to be there for the long haul?
Honestly, I feel like it can go 50-50. I could wake up tomorrow and Mourinho could have left, or because they're not improving at all from the start of the season till now. They haven't improved once. So even though yesterday they should have at least got a point. They had the chances, but maybe it's enough of luck. But there's just something not right, and I'm not sure if it's the manager or the players, because we don't really know what happens off the pitch, and we can only read stories, and with stories that aren't 100% accurate anyway.
Yeah, if Mourinho does go, who do you think is the right option to replace him?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. In the market right now, I'm not sure. I'd be surprised if they brought, like, Di Matteo back.
There are rumors that it might be Diego Simeone.
Yeah, I'd find it baffling if he left Atletico now.
Yeah.
When he just bought, like, a whole other team this season, like, and now he wants to leave. Like, it's crazy, but you never know in football.
Yeah, because, like, what the paper said was that they're going to do a swap, like Diego Simeone will go to Chelsea and Mourinho goes to Atletico, which to be honest, I would find baffling, because I was, like, thinking to my head, like, who's the perfect guy to replace Simeone when he's gone? And it's Mourinho. He's the only person with the same level of intensity. And who's the same person to replace Mourinho? It's Simeone.
I guess, but would the Atletico fans welcome Mourinho after he's in Real Madrid? Nah.
Maybe after the first Madrid derby, when he, like, gesticulates like the Real Madrid fans, they'll love him.
Yeah, like, I don't think they trust him.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think, just as players don't move between rival clubs, to me, managers shouldn't either.
Yeah. It just reminds me of this one manager who was a manager for Real Madrid, but he played for Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Atletico. And so in the season, like, Atletico won the league, his team tied with Atletico, and he said that, like, he wanted his team to play very well, despite the fact that they've been playing shit throughout the 5 games before that. And he said that it was out of service to his other 2 teams. It sounds like totally weird.
Yeah, like, it's just a whole mess, man.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed our discussion, and we look forward to seeing you after the Clasico. Adios.